Hi everyone, my name is Kurt and I'm a meteorologist here at the National Weather Service in Green Bay. So what we do here as meteorologists is we tell you about the weather. So if it's going to be rainy or snowy or really cold to where you need a jacket, or if it's going to be a really hot and sunny day, that's the type of things that we do here. And my wonderful assistant Mabel here is going to help me measure some rainfall. And then lastly, we'll do a weather balloon. So this is called the rain gauge, and this is what we use to measure rainfall here. So as you can see, there's this cylinder and rain falls down into it. And every 6 hours, Mabel and I'll come out here and we have our ruler. As you can see, these are in inches here, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. And then we stick it in there, just like that. Let me see how much rain there is. How much rain is there, Mabel? Mabel says there wasn't any rain these past 6 hours. So then we pull it back and get ready for the next 6 hours. And then if you look behind me and kind of all around, what this is called is this is a snow fence. So we also measure snowfall. So when there's snow, we'll stick out some snowfall boards right here, and the snow falls on it. And then Mabel measures the snow and lets us know how much snow fell. And then the snow fence here keeps it all the snow from blowing onto our snowboards. So that's just some of the fun things that we do here at the Weather Service to measure rain and measure snow. And then we can also measure temperature and wind speeds. And we do that through a weather balloon. So let's go take a look at that. And while we're waiting for the balloon to get filled with hydrogen, up here is what we call a Doppler radar. So what this does is, if you look on the television or some internet websites, weather.gov /Green Bay, we have a link to a radar. And what that does is tells us how much rain is falling, where it's falling, and kind of gives us a sense of how hard it's falling. So sometimes it's just sprinkling, and other times it's raining really heavily. The Doppler radar there is what helps us determine that. And basically how it works is it sends out a beam or a signal, and that signal hits the raindrops and it bounces back to the radar, and the radar just kind of interprets that and translates it into rain so that we see the rain on the radars on the television sets. So again, this is a very, very tall thing. This is a couple 100 feet off the ground. And all National Weather Service offices have one of these Doppler radars. And we'll actually go a little bit out of order here. Just before we launch our weather balloon here, we'll take you to the operations area and show you all of our computers. So this is just some of the things that we look at. For instance, we can look at the radar there and some of our forecast models. And that's where we make the weather forecast. So for this Thursday evening, October 22nd, we're forecasting about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall up in northern Iowa. All right, so here we are at the upper air building. And this is the start of our weather balloon. So see how small it looks to start with? We won't watch this whole thing because it'll take about 10 to 15 minutes for it to blow up. So you can see how small it is. And then in just a little bit, we'll see how big it becomes when we put all the hydrogen into it. Okay, while we're waiting for the balloon to blow up, this is the instrument that we attach to it that measures our weather information. This is called a radiosonde. And so at this measures the humidity. So when you see, for example, fog, when it's really foggy and you can't see in the morning sometimes, that's because it's basically 100% humid. And this goes all the way up into the sky and tells us where there's fog, which is basically a cloud on the ground, except it's the clouds in the sky that you see every day that you can make shapes out of. And then this is a harmless weather instrument. We have that sticker on there just in case it lands somewhere and people are like, what is this thing? You know, just pretend this landed in your backyard. You'd be pretty confused as to what it is. Probably, I know I would be. So yeah, so that measures humidity. Then this measures the temperature, and it helps measure the wind speeds as well. So, you know, the temperature when it's really warm on the ground, when you get way up high in the sky, it gets colder. And this gives us all that temperature information. It sends it back to our computers, where we use it for computer models to help determine what the weather is going to be for the next day. All right, we'll check in on our balloon here. It's almost ready. Still getting a little bit more room to go, but look how much bigger it is versus how it was when it started. And there's where the instrument is. And sometimes we have some visitors too here at the National Weather Service. I don't know if you can see this on my camera or not, but there's some deer. See if we can count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 deer out there. They've come to watch the weather balloon launch also. We're right by the Green Bay Airport, just in case you didn't know. There's an airplane landing. All right, here we go. It's weather balloon time. So as you can see, the weather balloon's as big as a person, just about. Here we go. And there it goes. And so that'll send us all the weather information like temperature and wind speeds, and we'll get that and have it help us make our weather forecast to tell you if it's going to be cold or warm or when it's going to snow next. All right, that's it from us here at the National Weather Service, so thank you very much for watching.